Grizzlies fans, this is an exciting day because it has been over 250 days since John Morant played basketball in FedEx Forum at Memphis. Today, the Grizzlies will take on the Indiana Pacers with John Morant. Joining me to break this one down is Scott Agness. Are you as excited about this game as the rest of us?
I'd say so, yeah. I mean, it's great to see a player get their comeback. And Ja, one of the potential faces of the league, then had a setback. And it seems like, hopefully, fingers crossed, has got things in order, had that spectacular return on the road. Now he'll try to duplicate that here at home.
Yes, he did have a really good game, 34 points, the buzzer beater, game winner. And this Memphis team, Scott, is the team that has had the best home record for the last couple seasons. Obviously, not this season. They have one win at home. So Ja's going to come back and try and, reverse that. Going up against the team that was in the in-season tournament finals, one of the best young teams led by Tyrese Haliburton. But I want to talk a little bit about Ja. Because obviously you covered the NBA for a number of years. You know what Ja can do. You saw what Ja did against the Pelicans just 2 days ago. We can look at these numbers and it's like, look, Indiana is number one in points. The Grizzlies are 30th. Indiana is number one in field goal percentage. Grizzlies are 30th. There's these huge juxtapositions on both sides, but Ja changes that. How much does Ja change how this Pacers team enters today's game?
I think significantly, because when he's at his peak, and I mean, I don't know where he's at physically, where he feels, but I mean, once he gets going again, he's probably a top 20 player in this league at his full powers, right? At least. All NBA type guy. And so it completely is a big red flag, big circle on the team's scouting report going into this one. And it also hurts because they struggle defending, but even more so guards and wings. And I doubt Andrew Nembhard will be back. He's their backup point guard. He's been out for the last couple of weeks. A hyperextension injury that happened while they were out in Vegas for the tournament. He'd be one of the best guys to try to slow Ja down. And even if he can return, I'm sure he'll be limited in minutes. Tyrese, admittedly, not a good defender at all. They're coming off a game previous night where Terry Rozier went off against them in the first half in the Charlotte Hornets. Then they blew him away. The Pacers did in the second half. So Ja changes the entire dynamic, not just for the Pacers, but any team facing the Grizzlies.
You mentioned the defense being the issue for this Pacers team because it is obviously not the offense. They are the number one rated offense in the league. They're top 10 in 3-point percentage, 3 points takes, assists. They're number one. I mentioned the number ones of the other ones. Something that they're also number one in is points in the paint, but they're also number one in allowing opponents points in the paint. And that is where the Grizzlies do score a lot of their buckets. It has been kind of their bread and butter the last few years. It's been semi-okay the first 25 games, but Ja scores a lot in the paint. And Ja is going to be one of the leading scorers of this team. And he makes everyone else better, like Jaren in the paint. How do you see the just like the paint scoring, the game down low going today?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, especially with Ja playing, was how about that spectacular dunk in the paint, obviously, he had here in Indiana last year. I think he called it his best dank ever. Yeah, exactly. He cocked it back and finished strong. Like, the bench erupted. That was phenomenal. And so I think he can expect a little bit more of that even tonight. Like, this team is awful defensively. I do not want to understate it. Like, that's been the big issue for this franchise really for the last 3 years is they just do not have many great defenders. They really don't have many good individual defenders either. They'll probably throw a lot of Aaron Nesmith, I would guess, at Ja. But to your specific question, Pacers they're the perfect league pass team. They're a fun team if you love offense. And so I would expect the Grizzlies to feast inside 50, 60 plus points in the paint. The Pacers will get theirs in the fast break. I mean, you'll watch on the local broadcast, for instance, they'll cut away right to a hero shot of who just scored. And oftentimes you'll miss the Pacers getting it to the other end of the floor.
Wow.
That's how quickly they want to move. They're not calling a lot of plays. It's Tyrese reading the floor and attacking when he's out there.
And I want to talk about Tyrese. So I'm glad that you brought him up. He is phenomenal on offense because you just mentioned that 25 points per game. But if you are a league pass person, like you said, like Tyrese is definitely that guy that you want to watch. What have you liked from him this year?
It's the way in which he makes others better. He's good for like 13, 14 assists per game, seemingly leads the league in that department. And growing up, I was always a fan of point guards more than anything. So that's the thing I like the most too, is in following and covering his game. Like, you just like the I don't know, the shine, the sparkle, the pizzazz he provides on the court. I do kind of joke he does so many no look passes, but really it's kind of a look away pass. It's like, I see you, then I'm going to look this way and pass it back.
Mhm.
Either way, it's phenomenal. He's always looking for teammates like an Obi Toppin cutting to the rim to throw it up to him for an alley oop. He's really improved his 3-point shot. Now he is in a little bit of a funk over the last few weeks, or excuse me, over the last week, and even more so, it's in his care for the ball. A couple times this season, KJ, he's had like 2 or 3 straight games where he's had like 13 assists per. Zero turnovers. Well, in each of the last 3 games, he's turned it over 4 times. So that's been the trend for him negatively over the last week, where it feels like he's just gotten a little loose with the ball. But other than that, he's the engine that gets this team going. 20 points per game, leading the league in assists, and really, Rick Carlisle, the Pacers head coach, empowers him to run the team.
Yeah, so he leads the league in assists. This team leads the league in
Mm-hmm.
assists as well. They're number 1 as a team. There's 8 guys who are averaging double-digit points, which is incredible. There were 7 guys who scored in double digits just in the last game itself. Uh, especially on the second half of a back-to-back, because I know this team likes to run and get out.
Yeah.
Second night of a back-to-back. Tonight, how do they take advantage of the Grizzlies, like offensively? How do they score?
I think it's you got to stick to what works. And the good thing for the Pacers last night was the fact that they only had to play the starters 28 minutes. Nobody needed to play more. The game was basically handled mid-fourth quarter. So you had Haliburton there in his shooting shirt sitting at the end of the bench, resting and taking it easy before they get into Memphis. So that's a good thing. Now they are coming off an awful stretch. That was their second straight home game. Before that, they had played 7 games in 12 days. Because of the tournament. That's what I wrote earlier this week is like, you hate to make excuses, but let's put this into bigger context. The reality is advancing in the tournament was a huge detriment to the Pacers' current stretch right now. You look at the Lakers as well. I mean, they've dropped like 4 of 5. So both teams that reached the finals have both went on road trips after the tournament. Nonetheless, if the Pacers want to win, they're going to have to just do what they normally do on offense. Like, it's as simple as that, just because of how poor the defense is. You cannot count on them getting stops or slowing Ja Morant or anything like that. Like, I'll believe it when I see it, quite frankly. And so the Pacers will need to score probably 130 points to get the win, and know that the Grizzlies will probably be good for at least 120.
Ooh, high scoring game. You heard it here first. Okay.
Hold on. To that point, the Pacers have had like 3 of the top like pregame over-unders in like the past 30 years. Like, so that's the level you can expect. I mean,
they're scorers.
Pacers are scoring and they are giving it up. So against the Bucks, it was, it's 140 to 130. That's the type of games the Pacers have been playing this season. That is not an exception.
Well, that makes it exciting, honestly, because like these 70-point games are not fun to watch. They're very like let's keep going. So
it's
we're gonna
more modern day.
excitement.
Yes.
We're gonna have some excitement today at FedEx Forum. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so I usually end this with, hey Scott, give me your matchup of the game. Who are you most looking forward to? But I'm not asking that today, because if it's not Ja Morant, what are we here for?
Yeah.
Give me this. Okay. Give me this. If the Grizzlies, you're going to have to do like analyst backwards. If the Grizzlies.
I'm on a back-to-back here too, doing math.
I'm tired.
Right.
If the Grizzlies can do blank, they can beat the Pacers tonight.
Mm-hmm. If the Grizzlies keep the Pacers to under 10 3-pointers, there's a wild stat I forget off the top of my head, but there's something ridiculous if they make 13 and more and over, like 13 and 2 this season or something. To the point is, if they can keep the Pacers from shooting efficiently from beyond the arc, and they love to shoot the threes, love to run and gun and shoot the threes. If Buddy Hield is cold,
I was gonna say, who's the best 3-pointer? I was like, is it Buddy?
Buddy's up there for sure. He's been in a little bit of a slump as well. Like, first half against Charlotte, 0 for 3. Second half, made 4 of his first 5 in that third quarter. Tyrese is kind of cold right now. Aaron Nesmith, I will say, he's been the big surprise from the arc. So keep an eye on him off the bench. If the Grizzlies keep them to a low percentage and low 3-point makes, they will definitely win.
All right. Well, let's do it. They are number 7 in the league in 3-point percentage. So that'll be a tall task. Hopefully the Grizzlies defense is up for it. Scott, thank you for your time today. I know it's a back-to-back. Get a little bit of sleep, because it's going to be a fun one tonight.